Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy. Today we're going to talk about that Nintendo Direct that aired yesterday on the 14th of September. I'm not going to watch the entirety of things. I'm going to skip through and just talk about the things that I liked about it. But as we go into this, it was a decent Direct. I didn't have my hopes up high. I always, with these Directs, I tend to always just have there's one thing I'd like to get out of it, and I got more than one thing out of this, which was cool. And we know Tokyo Game Show's coming up, so there's a lot of Japanese stuff, or a lot of RPG heavy things like that. So let's just crack on, and let's talk about stuff. The first thing they did actually show off was Splatoon Side Order. Now I'm going to be perfectly honest, I might let this play because it looks interesting, but I have fallen off Splatoon very hard. I loved the first one. The first game on Wii U was incredible. Ever since the gamepad's gone away, it just isn't the same. Played about 5 hours of 2. I haven't even touched Splatoon 3. However, this does look kind of interesting. It looks very weird, which is probably what's best for Splatoon, is having a weird stuff going on. I think this is meant to be like They always do a Splatfest at the end of one of the game when they go into the next game. It's like, it was Order and Chaos. I think this one is what happens if they had picked Order rather than Chaos. I just want to make sure this is a... Yeah, cool. And quite frankly, it does look... It looks very, very clean, very white, very sterile looking. But it does look different. And I think people are going to really enjoy that, having something a bit different for Splatoon. Having a big single-player DLC. It looks like you get upgrades and things. That seems to be what's going on here. Splash damage, there you go, main fire rate, bunch of updates. It looks like it's one of those games where it's maybe not like a roguelite, but you play for a bunch of things, you get upgrades, and then you finish. Almost like a tower, which it is basically a tower. But yeah, it looks ridiculous, which is what you want. You want it to look fun, you want it to look a bit chaotic, a bit crazy. I think people will really like it, but in terms of stuff that's coming out, I fell off of Splatoon a long old time ago. Let's talk about this though. Let's talk about the fact that they are remaking Mario vs. Donkey Kong from the Game Boy Advanced. Now, I never saw this coming. I thought if we're going to get a new Mario vs. Donkey Kong game, we'd get a new one, and I was unsure to start with, but the Game Boy Advance game is phenomenally good. It's one of those underrated gems. Great game. I still own it. It's very much like a platformer. It's like a puzzle platformer essentially, or it's an action platformer, but there are puzzle elements in there. You just have to, each level you have to get keys, open the doors, find the minis, and then fight DK at the end of each world. The music's really jolly. They've done a really good job of making this look very nice, very clean looking. You've got the toy aesthetic going on. I don't remember some of these levels, but I haven't played it in a long time, and some of that stuff would have looked like the Game Boy Advance stuff. But this is something I'll definitely be getting, because this game is genuinely really, really fun. It looks good. It's just a fun game. Yeah, it sucks it wasn't an actual DK game, because we haven't had a DK game in ages. Nintendo really don't put out a lot of DK games, but this is, considering it is Mario vs. Donkey Kong, this is still the best one. March of the Minis, which I think was the second one, was also good, but after that it just became too repetitive and it fell off. And those games were much more for the DS and stuff, whereas this is good. This is a really, really solid game. And they've done graphically, they've done a really cool job upgrading it. And you can play 2-player now, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of fun. But I have a feeling there's going to be new levels or new puzzles or new things in this game. It already had a lot of levels, but February 16th, great time to bring it out. So, music was really, really good. I don't know if I've spoken about this game much, but this Prince of Persia game looks flipping awesome. This is a game that I'll definitely be getting. It's probably the best thing Ubisoft's put out in a while in terms of actually looks interesting. Because it's looks like a Metroidvania style game. So, it just looks fast, it looks fluid, it looks like it's a lot of fun. Combat looks good in this game. Nice art style as well. Hopefully it runs well on Switch, because I'd like to play it on Switch rather than anything else. But you can see, like, yeah, you've got all the different combat going on. 2D combat's always great. But this is probably the best thing that could possibly happen to Prince of Persia. Like, this is, they obviously don't want to compete with Assassin's Creed in that 3D space. Make a 2.5D game. Make a Metroidvania out of it. Make big boss fights. It looks very, like, it gives me Metroid Dread vibes with these boss fights, which is awesome. So it just looks great. So looking forward to that January game. I'm gonna skip forward because there's a bunch of smaller games here. I'll put this on. Like, I'm not sure about this game yet. Like, I didn't like the original, but I am willing to give this game another go. Because I don't know what else is coming out in November. I can't think off the top of my head. Like Persona, I think. But like, at least, like, you know, the RPGs can be fun. It might be a game I end up playing with a guide. I don't know. I'm not sold on this game, but graphically it looks very nice. Like, it's done a really, really nice job on modernizing and making them look really cutesy in that squished art style.
During your adventure, you'll encounter bosses with colorful personalities. After clearing the game,
Shark
you
dude.
can fight some of them again.
But yeah, I don't have much experience with this. This music though in this trailer, you might not be able to hear it, but the music is, hearing those remixes, people are going to be very happy. That's crazy to think that's like 2 months away as well.
Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop.
They showed off another Code Recollections. Not a game I'm interested in. I have nothing to say on it. But we finally got the Princess Peach game. We got a look at it, and I've got to say, this game looks very creative. This is when Nintendo's at their best, when they're being super creative. We see that with Mario Wonder, with some of the crazy stuff they're doing with that. And with this Peach game, this looks like it's got a lovely art style, which is nice. And we get to see Peach doing different things that we don't normally see. And I think it's cool. Like,
it's up to Peach and the theater's guardian Stella to save the play and the day.
But this game's all about the different costumes, each act being a very different story, and I think that is super cool. Like, I think people to start with are probably thinking, oh, this will probably just be like you know, like a game just to pass the time from the Switch to its sequel. But actually, looks like it's a full-blown, like, fun event. It gives me Luigi's Mansion vibes in the way, like, the levels are laid out, and like the way you go to floor in that game, whereas in this you're going from like stage to stage by the looks of it. So it could be being made by Next Level Games. But look at this, Sword Fighter Peach. Look how cool she looks. Like, the fact that we're getting that kind of thing going on now with her, and you see the rest of the other, well, not all of them, but you see some of the other costumes, and it's like, it's super creative. Like, that level's obviously all about like fighting. This one's a murder, like, not a murder mystery, but it's a mystery chapter. And you get to see Peach with like the old Deerstalker on and the magnifying glass. Super cool. Like, I think anybody who's bashing on this, like, would be like, it's just dumb. Because this looks fun, it looks interesting, it looks different. Each of these worlds, 3 different worlds so far. Look at this. It might not be the hardest game in the world, but it doesn't need to be. Like this, the fact that she's got like the kung fu stuff going on. You actually turns it into like a side-scrolling brawler, by the looks of it. What's not to like? Like, honestly, this game just looks crazy good. And it's just look how much like the colours popping and things like that. Honestly, probably one of the most interesting things that Nintendo have put out in a long time, if I'm honest. Oh, what other big fun things? We've got a couple. I will talk about this. I'm not a big fan of Tomb Raider. I actually think that the original games do not hold up at all. I probably wouldn't buy this remaster, but it is cool to see it. You know, but yeah, I'm not the biggest Tomb Raider guy. I think these games, they need like a lot of changing. Oh, we have to talk about this. Trombone Champ coming to Switch. Oh my god, this game is so funny. Oh, this game makes me laugh so much every time I see it. Like, I love it. Yeah, ridiculous game. Like, if you haven't seen, just go and watch more gameplay if this isn't enough. See what some of those songs are. The fact that this has come to Switch is incredible. And this game uses motion controls and it uses the IR sensor that no one ever uses. Yeah, absolute blast. If you're interested, definitely play it. As people probably know, like, War Tales. I've spoken about War Tales on this channel. I think it's a good game. Had some issues with it, but it's coming to Switch after this presentation. It's on Switch now. I am very curious to see how. Like, there's some really cool ideas about this game. I wonder if it's got the same updates as the PC version's now got, but like the fact that this is on Switch, like, actually took me by surprise. A lot of people in the directs probably aren't going to give a toss because they're like, "What's this weird little game?" But I did play it, and you guys probably seen my videos on the channel about it. So yeah, and it's timed exclusive as well. So it's kind of crazy. But War Tales, you know, interesting to see. Contra. Weird to see this. This I was not expecting. The problem is, though, graphically it looks kind of like, I think it needs a bit more work. You can tell it's Way Forward, unfortunately, because, like, Way Forward do some incredible stuff, but then, I don't know, sometimes their graphical stuff isn't great. I mean, you can say that about Advance Wars, I guess, but like, if this actually ends up being good, I'll probably get it. But it's it feels a bit cheap. So hopefully they sort of out. I think that's the Unicorn game. I don't have much to say about this either, which is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Like, I might get it. It's the only Luigi's Mansion game I've actually played, and it's a very small amount. It's cool that it's on Switch, it's coming to Switch, but I really don't have a lot to say on it, unfortunately. It's not a series I particularly am not bothered by. Amiibo updates. Okay, let's talk about this. This is simultaneously really cool but really disappointing. I'm glad that something of F-Zero is now back. I have played it. I have played this game. I've played a couple of races. It's a cool idea. I think for a 99 game it's unrealistically difficult. Like, this game does not handle... It handles very weirdly, and it's very easy to just get, like, absolutely destroyed. And I think, you know, that's part of the process, learning and all that. It should be hard because it's F-Zero. But yeah, I'm disappointed because it's not F-Zero GX, like a remaster or remake. Those are the rumblings I'd heard. Obviously, you can't ever trust leaks and rumors until stuff happens, and it may still happen. But I think for me, it's like, that would have been... Someone was saying about how this will really, like, push forward the fact that, you know, people will play it, it's free, all that sort of stuff. I think people will play it, and I think it will have a decent life, because, again, those 99 games always have player base. But I think a G8 GX remaster or a remake would have pushed the needle forward, because then we would have seen sales, and the likelihood it probably would have sold at least 1 million sales on Switch. Because it's a crazy racing game, it looks incredible, and they would have polished up, it would look better. But we got this, and it is fun. It's just, it's not as easy to get into as something like Tetris. It's not as easy to get into as something like Pac-Man. This is by far the hardest 99 game. Like, even Mario 35 is easier than this, and, you know, that, like, Tetris is the easiest because it's a block dropping puzzle. Pac-Man, again, you direct where you want to go. This is a hard game, like, and it's cool that there's multiple levels, and it is fun, but it's brutal. But I will say that, like, after the my initial disappointment, I have played it. I have had fun with it. It is a cool idea. And I'm glad that F-Zero, Nintendo remembered F-Zero. I mean, that's good, rather than them not. Like, they seem to think no one's interested. I think a game like this is so different to Mario Kart that it's like, you know, this is much more fast-paced racing. People love this series, you know.
risky?
If I'm honest, right, the amount of people that care about certain games that Nintendo put out, like Pokemon or, you know, things that really, really sell, if people have the same amount of passion for that, for like this, or like Advance Wars and some of the other custom Robo, some of the other series that Nintendo put out that are kind of fun. I'm not saying that Pokemon can't be fun, but you know, like these other series that we hardly ever get, you know, we get one per console usually. I think we would get a lot more of these games. At the end, you're going to see that there's a reveal for Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, right? There's a big fan base around those games. Like, and they're getting what they want, I guess. And that is a great game. I love that game. I'm glad it's getting a remake. We'll get to that. But I really am like, you know what? You've thrown us a bone. You're giving us this F-Zero 99, but come on. All you got to do is like put some money towards that remaster for GX. People love GX. I think X is on the Switch Online. And I think the original F-Zero is also on there. So give us that GX remaster, and I think we're in a good spot. I think a lot of people will be happy with that.
Spend some of your power meter for a temporary
But if you are fans of these games, like F-Zero and stuff, like just keep at it, man. Just keep at it, because there is a dedicated fan base out there.
which appear when machines collide to boost up to a special
But
path called
the idea for this isn't terrible. Like I think I will play this quite a lot.
and jumping
But I do think yesterday my initial disappointment for this was like, oh, this is really disappointing. This isn't.
complete goals
But
while you're racing to unlock
at least now,
options for your machine.
having played it, having not, you know, time to digest on it, the game is good. It is fun and it's quick. And the load times, like getting into a race, takes no time at all. I am concerned that people are only just going to pick Mute City and Big Blue though, just for the music.
Time to race
I've only seen one other race, which was Deathwind. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Deathwind.
exclusively for
But
active Nintendo
awesome that this is here. Like finally we're getting something.
presentation.
A bunch of League of Legends stuff nobody cares about. I'm going to be honest. Before we get away, I genuinely am shocked. Like I think it's cool that Riot keep trying to put out different types of games, but it's a different. I think it's because of my age. I couldn't care about any of their games. Like their characters do not speak to me. They're MOBA characters, so they're trying to give backstories, all these different things, have different games. But like, I'm like, I don't care. Your games look, some look fun, some look weird, some look boring. You know, but you know, fair play to them, but not for me.
Move into formation.
WarioWare, on the other hand, this game looks ridiculously stupid. Hang on a minute. Oh, that Wario voice is very different.
Greetings. Welcome to the island.
This game looks ridiculous. You know, it's an obvious party game.
Contains tons of micro games.
Like that one is trying to lay an egg.
Moving.
That just looks ridiculous. Like that's what I like about this game is like, let's just make the person playing the game look like a knobhead.
Copy the form shown. Then
And that's kind of what's fun about it, right?
as quick as you can.
It's like hand gestures.
The micro games
So yeah,
will come
I am very excited for this just because like the thing is when you first play this and you don't know the micro games, it's just very dumb, very silly. And there's multiplayer, like
out in party
this is
mode.
great. Again, not everyone's cup of tea, these games. I would have preferred a normal Wario Land game. Where's that, Nintendo?
Or settle the score
But they
in
obviously
arena
think
to
Wario
advance
works
one
better in
housing.
a party mode setting.
With over 200 lightning fast micro games and multiplayer modes aplenty. Everyone's in for a
Oh, you gotta wiggle your ass.
WarioWare Move It.
Again,
Launches on
very
Nintendo
silly.
Switch
Looking forward to
November
it.
3rd. Pre-orders are available now on
Oh,
Nintendo
I do want to highlight this.
Get back
I played a little bit of the first Wargroove. These games have really good music to my knowledge.
Wargroove.
And I'm glad there's a second one. This was basically like Advance Wars meets Fire Emblem
A new mouse phone
until we got Advance Wars. But these games really are good. Like you might not like the art style, it's it's a choice.
supercharge your
But
commander's groove to unleash
awesome
devastating
games.
attacks.
Like did a really good job with the first game.
In conquest mode.
I didn't play a lot of it, but I should go back and play more of it. But you do have different like COs essentially. There's obviously different mechanics and stuff, but
Create and share
I
cutscenes
liked
and
the
campaigns.
first one. And this is cool. Cutscene and campaign editor. That's pretty fucking cool.
Nintendo Switch as a
Like
console
that is a really cool
exclusive October
console exclusive. As well. I didn't realize that.
pre-orders begin
Yeah, I want to just highlight that because I think these games are
presentation.
super cool. Gameplay wise, really good. Dave the Diver coming to Switch game I've heard a lot about, but it's not for me.
Dive and catch fish.
Okay, this we got to talk about as well.
The final wave is racing in. Here's a sneak
So-
peek.
I already thought I had this down as to what the tracks were going to be. I still think what they're gonna put in the last like 4 tour tracks, which is gonna kill it for me. Was not expecting this. The only downside to this track being here is it's not one of the harder ones. This is quite an early. I think I'm pretty sure it's on like an earlier course than the Wii, but cool to see it nonetheless. Daisy Circuit, I think it's called.
6, the final wave of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass DLC.
But that's not why we're here, really, because they broke Nintendo doing what they do not best and giving you some expectations and then breaking them. Diddy Kong showing up, amazing, finally, and funky. So we got the 2 Kongs. I just generally didn't think we were getting them at this point. And Pauline, which is awesome. Like, it's great that she's going to be here. I will say Peachette, which is about to show off. Choice. I wouldn't have used Peachette. She's probably going to be a skin for Toadette or Peach, depending on where they decide to put her. But yeah, interesting choice. Cool to see a different track. Plus 4 characters. So. But yeah, it's cool to see it. Right, let's talk about 1000 Year Door while this is playing in the background. I have, again, I've heard like rumors of this in the past. I had to go and look at gameplay of the GameCube game because I was like, how different does this look? This is like significantly upgraded. Like, it's kind of crazy actually. Like how much like cleaner it looks, and it's kind of hard because the art style is very. This game is never going to look bad in years to come. This game is one of those games that's always going to look good, but they look so much more like cardboard cutouts. This is one of the best RPGs I have ever played. It was my first Paper Mario game, I believe. Or did I play the N64 one first? I can't remember. But I loved the idea of this game. I'm not even a big... at the time, I was not a big RPG guy. I tried Mario RPG, didn't like it. I played some Dreamcast RPGs. But this looked fun. So, yeah, I will definitely be getting this. It's a good chance to replay this game. There are a couple of chapters in this game that are a bit of a slog. Oh, but the music, again, you might not be able to hear it, but getting to hear the music again was, it's pretty fucking great. The battle theme, anyway. I remember completing this game the first time I played it, like, purely, you get like a roulette wheel, and I got like triple shines. And it refilled everything, and it made me win. It was great. But yeah, just beautiful looking game. Paper Mario games, like in terms of aesthetic, are some of the best games ever made in terms of that way. Like, they just look incredible. So yeah, really, really happy to see this back. And this was the big shock of the Direct, I think, for a lot of people. So between this, Mario and Donkey Kong, now F-Zero 99, that I'm not so like bummed out by it. Those are like the 3 things for me that were really cool. Super Princess Peach, sorry. Princess Peach Showtime looks great. There's some good stuff here. We've got WarioWare coming out. We've got games through from now until essentially March. Yeah, so, you know, there's obviously more stuff in there. There's a lot of third parties, a lot of RPGs. There was stuff I'm not bothered by. Like, but all in all, a Direct, I think, that had a lot of games. Even if I'm not interested in some of that stuff, other people would be. Yeah. I think we had a good solid Direct. It wasn't the best thing ever. I think, you know, people want to see Metroid. There's obviously people wanted to see, like myself, wanted to see like a remaster of F-Zero GX, but there's still time. We shall see. We'll see what Nintendo does in the future. But I think right now, leading from September to March, there is at least one big game every month coming from Nintendo, except for December. I think December doesn't have anything currently, to my knowledge. But it's really cool to see these games. Solid Direct. Hope everyone else had a good time. But there are my thoughts on the things that I actually cared about from this Direct. So there we go. So thank you very much for watching this video. As always, if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description as always. And until next video, I will see you then.